So for the A+, you need the 1001 and the 1002 to pass completely. The 1001 is more hardware, and the 1002 is more software. And then I use the Mike Meyers book, so this is where I get all my information from. I'm finally going to get through and read it tomorrow, but I'm going to start halfway through the chapter. I've gone through the first book, part of the book, a little bit CPUs and firmware and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to start on chapter 12 tomorrow and go through, because for what I'm looking for to get out of it is more where that kind of thing starts. But at the very back you have the objectives and stuff, just like you would get CompTIA objectives and stuff, and it breaks it down on where it is for the 1.0, 1.2 and so forth. Usually there's 5 different objectives that you go through, and it has the page numbers. Now the 101, it's a little more easier to break it down to take the pages and go through on these rather than the 1002. The pages and stuff like this right here, the 101 mobile devices, everything's in chapter 23. So I can just go through and I can take this, the first page here, and I can go through it, the mobile devices, and I can put that into chapter 23. And I could break it down from there, little things like that. The studying for all these tests and stuff, everybody does their own thing, but it's kind of just break it down what you can, read the chapter, focus on one chapter, focus on an objective, move on to the next objective when you learn it, and go from there. The biggest thing is these acronyms. You have to know what the acronym means to understand when it has the question, because when they add, especially when I went through the practice questions on the Network Plus one, it's big on that kind of thing. They use all acronyms, and if you don't know what the acronym means, you really don't know what it can do in that question. So on this, as you can see, this is all chapter 23 here, and over here it's more chapter 23 for the 1.2 here objective, and then 1.3 it goes down and it's still on chapter 23. Then it moves to chapter 24 on the 1.4 here, and the 1.5. Like I said, the 1001 is mainly the hardware stuff, and the 1002 is the software stuff. I wanted to do the software one more and start with that first, because that's a little more, and I still may do that, but this kind of breaks it down here because it's a lot easier on the where you can break down the pages from and see. It's a lot easier with this chapter 24, and you have here the 1.7 given a scenario and stuff like that. Again, like I said, I use the Mike Meyers book. This is the book that I use here, is the Mike Meyers book. And I have his Security Plus book too, so this is what I go through on this. And it goes from here, and it's a little easier to, and it starts to get a little cluttered back here with different pages, different chapters, and where, you know, you start getting into 2 and start getting into 3 and stuff like that. But overall, most of it, here's another one, 21, 22, and you just break it down from there. And we'll go over some of these scenarios here. Like if you break it down on here, where given a scenario, the scenario ones are the big ones that you really got to understand, and you have the multiple choice and stuff. But the biggest thing is get the objectives from the CompTIA page for what you want to do and break it down, and then you could just go through here and understand this kind of stuff here with the given a scenario stuff, mobile devices and stuff like that, and just break it down for what you want to do and understand each part on what each one does for each test and each exam. And we'll just go through here a little bit more to get a better idea and stuff like that. Here it kind of breaks up here. It's kind of all over the place. Here's another one for all this stuff over here for the 3.5 and stuff. It kind of breaks it down, and it kind of varies all over from different chapters. Now you may say, well, why not just read the whole book chapter to chapter to chapter? Well, yeah, you could do that. Eventually I will do that. But here's another good one here for 3.8. This is all chapter 11. But you go through and you read the whole book, and you really don't grasp much of it. Some people do. Again, it's all about your study habits and what you can get out of it. Everybody studies different. Everything works differently for different people and stuff. Some people use videos. I like to watch videos and stuff like that, but until I get my laptop up and running, as I mentioned, there's not much I can do on that until I get a second monitor. And there's nothing I can do with it now. It's just kind of sitting there. So I'm not going to put it in the shop, pay $130 for them to look at it and tell me what I already know using a second monitor, and tell me, well, you might have to just replace the screen. Well, I know that. I've taken it apart and stuff. Here's another one here for, this is 3.11 for this right here, and it kind of all on the same chapter, chapter 26, and then it goes down to 4.0, 4.1 on chapter 22, and it continues on to chapter 22 and stuff like that. So it just kind of breaks it down here. Here's some of the stuff here. Again, I use the Mike Meyers book for the A+, and I also have the Mike Meyers book for Security Plus. But I really want to get this A+ stuff down to a science mainly for my entrepreneur thing. And here goes some more and stuff. Here's chapter 23 and 25, and it goes down, and you're in the last one here, 5.5 and stuff, and it goes through. Here's another one here, chapter 17 is 5.4. So if you take these here, you take these objectives and you take them pages out and you put it in those chapters, when you get to that chapter, you can mark off each thing of what you understand and build it better from there. Then you can go back and read the whole book, which is eventually what I'm going to do. I'm just going to break it down to pieces, like I've done an earlier video before, where I go through and I highlight everything, and I write all the notes. I write the questions and answers. I write them in a notebook. I write the notes in a section. I write the exam tips in a section. I mark it all in a notebook, and I go from there. And it's easier to carry around instead of this big book. I don't have a place to keep it at work. Plus, I don't want it to get ruined in work. And here's more with printers and stuff like that. And this is all chapter 26. With thermal printers and stuff, and this is 311, giving a scenario, a lot of scenarios and stuff like that. But what I've seen from people that have posted on the LinkedIn and stuff that have taken this exam is not so much the scenarios on there that are really killing them. A lot of them, some of the people that post what they missed, others don't. Some of them that I've seen that post it where they missed and they still passed, were the scenario questions. So I don't know how much the point system works with the scenarios and stuff. Here's some more 3.8 right here. And this is chapter 11. So let's go from there. I just want to do a quick video tonight. It's Saturday night. It's after 9 o'clock. I joined on Discord tonight on somebody that I'm connected with on LinkedIn, and joined his Discord tonight. First time on Discord. And there's a whole wealth of information on his just one channel to show you where you can promote your stuff, where you can get information from other people. It's very active. People talk on there and chat with each other. They help each other, and they go through different things. They'll give you resources. They post links. Anything that you want to learn is on that page right there that he does. I still have to figure out Discord, but a lot of people use it. He uses YouTube a lot. He's not so much on LinkedIn. I don't know if he's on Twitter, but I'm not even on Twitter much anymore because it's just gotten stale. It's gotten too much like Facebook. I remember on Facebook, I've given that up, a while ago, and it started getting stale, especially with all the drama and now with all the privacy stuff. But it's just getting to the point where people were just posting what they had for dinner, where they're eating for the restaurant, or they were doing a lot of selfies and all this just kind of nonsense kind of stuff. And you really don't get much out. And Twitter, I think, is starting to go that way too. I'm starting to notice a lot of people where they're posting a lot of selfies. They're posting this. Here I am drinking a beer. Here's what I'm eating and stuff like that. It starts to get stale. So hopefully this little tip helped you here. This is what, again, these are things that I come up with, and I try to share these things. And maybe somebody else might try to see if it works for them. Everybody studies different. Some people will spend, an entire day and just read 8, 9, maybe the whole book, and spend the whole day doing that. And they may comprehend everything that they got. I'm going to go this way. Again, I still might go to the 1002 and focus on that because that's the software thing. And I think I'm a little more familiar with the software stuff. And here it is back here where it says mapping the objectives, appendix and stuff, and it just goes through everything back here. And then later on in the back you have let's go back here a little further, you have all the definitions of stuff back here, and it just goes past that, and you learn all these definitions that go back here, and you just go through his page in his book and stuff like that. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm sitting here on my little table here. I got my cup of coffee. I might make another cup of coffee, try to pull, not an all-nighter, but stay up late and go from there. So enjoy your weekend. Hope this helps, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That would be great. And watch my videos, give me some views and stuff like that. And help me build my empire, as I like to tell people, and build my entrepreneurship to help others and stuff like that. So, good night.